Okay, so there's a guy named Peleus, and he was marrying a woman named Thetis. And so they had this big blowout wedding party, and they invited all the gods and goddesses. And
Yeah, we're having a party.
but they forgot one goddess, Eris, the goddess of chaos, and she got really angry and threw an apple, a golden apple, that said "to the fairest" on it at
Ow.
them. And surprisingly enough, they were all fighting over this apple.
Start this.
And so Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite are all fighting over this apple. And Zeus, the only guy not out of his mind, was like, okay, look, we need to send you to Mount Ida. And there, there was Paris, a shepherd, but also a prince. And he was going to help them with this disagreement of who was the best. So they all offered him gifts. Hera offered him riches and power. Athena offered glory and renown. And Aphrodite offered him the fairest woman in the land, the most beautiful woman. So of course he would not turn that down, because women are number one. And and so he went to claim his prize, and he kidnapped Helen, the most beautiful woman in the land, and she was gorgeous. But there was one problem. Helen was the wife of Menelaus, a very brutal Spartan ruler, and he was not too happy about this. So he went to gather up a crew to go against them and get his wife back. And so he first went to Odysseus, who wasn't really sure if he should go into the fight, so he didn't. But he was also a very good guy. But Palamedes, his friend, was like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. Then there was a guy named Agamemnon, and he helped out being the commander of the fight. And the best warrior, Achilles, helped out too. And then finally Odysseus was like, okay, I'll help out. So after that, Priam, Paris's father, he started an alliance, so he helped them out. And there's Hector, who was Paris's brother, and he was like, Paris, my brother, is so insane. Why would he take the wife of a Spartan ruler? And he wasn't going to fight, but he ended up fighting anyways because it's so.
And finally, the group of soldiers arrived at Troy. They fought for a while. War had officially begun, but after a while they realized that there was no true winning side. But luckily for the Greeks, they had Odysseus, who, as you'll soon come to find out, who's pretty clever. So
Smart.
he came up with the idea of the Trojan horse, which you all know pretty well, I would assume. So he filled up a horse with a bunch of Greek soldiers, and then the leftover guys sailed away back to Greece.
Let's go.
The Trojans noticed the giant wooden horse sitting on their doorstep, so they were like, why the heck not? Let's bring it in, because they thought it was a peace offering and such. And they were ecstatic, because they thought, hey, there's no war anymore. So they planned out parties, drinking, and dancing galore, except one party pooper. His name was Laocoon. He said, hey, I don't trust the Greeks, so let's not let this horse in, because it might be a trap. But just in the nick of time, this old straggler guy, Greek person named Sinon, he walked in and he's like, hey, I offended Odysseus, so he kicked me off the ship, so now I'm here. And this horse is a peace offering, and if you bring it in, the Greeks will lose the war. And the Trojans must not have been the sharpest tools in the shed because they trusted this guy, Sinon, more than a priest of Poseidon.
No.
So they brought the horse in, and they all danced around him and partied around him all night like it was the end of the world. But for the Trojans it was, because after a while the Greeks popped out of the horse and started killing everyone, and burning everything.
Ow.
And they just cut and slashed and hacked their way to King Priam, who was the last guy to fall. Menelaus took Helen back to Greece, and they lived happily ever after. The end.